Are you ready to buy a home? Ask yourself these 6 questions. Number 1, do I have a steady income? Do I have job security? Am I comfortable in the place that I work? And also, when you do borrow that money, the bank expects you to pay your mortgage on time every single month. Number 2, am I renting and getting very little in return? The life of a renter, I think, is very different from the life of a homeowner. When you're renting, there are a lot of benefits. I think one of the biggest ones is just low maintenance. That if something goes wrong in your place, you're probably gonna have the landlord and maintenance person come and help fix that for you. Also, you have the ability to be a lot more flexible, especially in a city like Chicago. There's so many places to explore. Every year, if you're renting, you could pick a new place to live in. But here's a caveat. The minute I start thinking, wait, what am I actually paying for? Because technically, when you're renting, you're still paying a mortgage, just not yours. Number 3, do I have enough money saved? So when I meet a first-time home buyer, sometimes they've already found a property online and kind of calculated and say, hey, I can afford this place. But there's also a down payment and closing costs that are involved. So I always like to kind of get an idea of how much do you want to put down, and do you understand what closing costs are to figure out exactly what it costs to buy a home. Talking to a lender is key. That person is going to help you understand how much money you actually need to buy this home. Number 4, am I ready to take on more responsibility? So when you're renting, you possibly have a landlord or a maintenance person that's going to help you take care of the issues that arise. But when you become a homeowner, all that responsibility lies on you. There are new things that you never had to tackle that actually gets put on your plate. Honestly, I tell most clients, you could YouTube a ton of stuff, but understand what you're capable of doing. So are you ready to take on that responsibility? Number 5, am I committed to living in the same place for more than 3 years? It'll take about 3 years for your home to appreciate enough to recoup those selling costs. So are you willing to stick it out? And number 6, do I know a good real estate agent? If you answered yes to all those questions, congratulations, you're ready to be a homeowner. One of the biggest steps to make sure you have a smooth and enjoyable transaction is having a great team. The team consists of 4 people. 1, your realtor. My job is to set up properties for you, guide you through the process, and kind of give you as much advice as possible. Once you find that place that's the one, it's also my job to not just draft a contract, but make sure you're getting fair market value for it. The next person is your mortgage lender. That person is gonna really help you fine-tune your budget. You can't buy a home unless you approve for it. So talking to that person is gonna be huge. The next person is an attorney, a real estate attorney. They're gonna help you understand all the legal documents through the transaction. And lastly, your inspector. Your inspector is gonna make sure you understand the condition of the home. They can't find everything. They're gonna spend 1 to 2 hours in this place, and when you move in, you're gonna spend 8 waking hours over the next couple months. So you'll probably find more things that they do, but we're just making sure that mechanicals in working order, there's nothing that jumps out like water intrusion or foundational issues, and that you feel comfortable and understand the condition of the home. Now, when it comes to your team, it's really important that they have worked together. Here's my analogy. It's like playing a game of pickup basketball. If you have the people that you play with every week, you know exactly what to do. You'll probably win more games. And here's what's good for you. You don't have to find these people. That's my job. I have trusted referral partners I've used throughout the years that I know will get the job done. I'm gonna take you step by step from accepted offer all the way to the closing table. So once you're on the contract, things become a lot more time sensitive. There's due dates for all the checkpoints that must be achieved before we closed. First one is after we get the contract accepted, you have 3 days to deliver the first half of the earnest money. That can be done via wire transfer or a check drop off to the office. Next is gonna be scheduled inspection. Inspection tends to be 45 minutes to 3 hours, really depending on the size of the place. What the inspector is trying to do is make sure you understand the condition of the home. If there are things that jump out, we will address them, either through credits or getting them fixed by the seller. Once we draft an official request to the seller, they have an opportunity to respond to us on how they want to move forward. Once we agree on those terms, attorney review officially closes. If you're buying a condo, we still have to review condo docs and a 22.1 document. These are documents that help us understand the health of the building and the rules and regulations. We'll actually have about 5 days to review everything in there. Once the attorney review closes, we have to deliver the second half of the earnest money. The attorney review period tends to happen within the first 7 to 10 days. So after that, It's kind of like an awkward silence period. Nothing really happens. At least, everything's happening in the background. Your lender will be gathering additional documents for the underwriting process to make sure you secure that loan, as well as ordering an appraisal to make sure that the home is actually worth the purchase price. During this period, I like to think no news is good news. If you don't hear anything, we're doing okay. Once we get the appraisal back, again, we have an opportunity to review. If it's under the purchase price, it kind of reopens negotiations again. If it's at or over, we're good to go. At this point, you should be receiving something called a clear to close. This means you are fully funded, ready to go, smooth sailing ahead. On the day of closing, maybe like an hour or two before, we like to schedule the final walkthrough. Final walkthrough, honestly, is just to make sure that, one, the place is still there. Two, if we did request anything, was it fixed? If it didn't get fixed, the attorneys will take care of it at the closing table. After final walkthrough, you actually head to the title company because there's where you're gonna sign all your closing documents. Once all that's through, we meet, hand over the keys. Congratulations, you're a homeowner.